Greetings, gamers. My name is Derek, also known as D-Vang, and welcome back to another Shadows of Brimstone Apple Turnover Gang episode. This is going to be a little bit shorter episode. It's not a full episode. It's a video. It's going to be essentially a continuation of the last town episode. I wanted to thank Bulldog. Make sure I get this right. Bulldog K9 UK for his comment on the video, reminding me of a couple things. First, the lasso. I forgot to deal with the lasso. And as far as the lasso, I looked up after I did the episode. All the starting items I actually did not have to roll for. Even if I didn't remember that, but I don't have to discard. You can't be forced to discard them. If you voluntarily discard them, you can purchase them back for the printed cost on the item, such as like the pistol or something. So, but the lasso has no cost either. It does mean that Bechamel does not lose her starting pistol, so she still has that starting pistol, and Pete did not lose his lasso, so we're good on the lasso, which is good. But he also pointed out that as part of the failure rewards, bad things that happen after the failure effects of the last episode, I was so focused. I'm assuming this is why, just kind of missed it. Even after rereading it, I was so focused on losing all of our items, or having to roll for all items, I missed the line that said every hero gets a mutation, which would have a big impact on the town. So we will basically, I'm going to do one additional day. We're going to figure out what the mutations are for each of the characters, and then we will look and see, basically spend one more day in town to go to the doctor and get rid of their mutations, most likely. Although we'll see, if we get a good mutation, somebody might keep one. But that is the thought. I also want to thank Darth Jawa 13 for commenting on the video. He had mentioned that I had forgotten the extra gamblers additional roll for the second gambling that Bechamel did, and that they get gear each day in this town, in the rail town, which I had not drawn for, and people had the opportunity to buy. Now, given how strapped we are for cash, I don't think we're going to actually, it's not going to matter. We can't really buy anything. We did spend a large majority of our money, and we may actually even need to sell something in order to heal these mutations, although we can check. I believe Doc, sorry, a little here, Doc does have the field surgery, so theoretically he could attempt to use a grit to heal an injury or mutation on another hero. D6 on a 5+, on a 1, they lose a health permanently. So, and he does have 3 grit, or he has grit anyway. I don't remember if that 3 grit is from what happened in town, but anyway, we will. He'll have at least 1 grit, which we'll attempt to reroll. I don't think Bechamel has any fortune, although she could use a tonic to get a grit, which would get her a fortune as well, to maybe pump up or prevent a 1. We'll see what happens with that, but I think that is the plan for that. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, and hey, let's get to town. Okay folks, here we are for town. So the first thing we're going to need to do, remember this is going to be day 2, is we're going to need to see what our mutations are for our various folks. So we're going to be checking the mutation chart and seeing what evil nastiness we can inflict upon ourselves, and then attempt to get rid of them. So we'll start with Bechamel. We're going to go with red die as first, similar to traveling. And let's see what we get for Bechamel. Bechamel gets a 11, a chest portal. So she has the chest portal. So a hole opens up in her chest, which is a little awkward for her, leading to another dimension, and occasionally stuff comes through. Anytime an 11 or 12 is rolled on Hold Back the Darkness, She rolls a d6. 1, 2, or 3. There's an ambush attack. As a low threat erupts. 4 or 5. Nothing happens on a 6. She gets an artifact. So we're going to want to get rid of that. That's just kind of... I mean, it's not going to happen a whole lot. So if we need to go through one adventure with that, it may not be too horrible. But getting an extra attack, extra threat, there's a 50% chance of that. So, well, given if we roll an 11 or 12 on a hold back the darkness roll. And we've got slightly increased odds with that rolling the for the void lantern. Simply because there's actually I guess the odds aren't any different now that I think about it. They're going to be exactly the same because there's just more 3s on the dice essentially. So we have for Doc. So what mutation does Doc have? This is going to be important because Doc can't heal his own. 35. He has a tentacle tail. He has +1 move, but he can only have 1 fewer corruption points before he gets a mutation. So that is not too horrible. You know, something like prehensile tail would have been nice, but the extra move for the tentacle tail is not bad. So we will. He may keep that. At least for now. And he's got a 3+ save against, for the corruption. So even though he can hold 1 fewer, that's not as bad. And Pete gets a 54. A 54 is a fused with item. Your skin and muscle grown out and extended around one of your items, making it part of you. Choose one item you are carrying that is one-handed or two-handed. From now on, that item must be assigned every turn. Okay. So, one-handed or two-handed item, the only thing we have are the Fallen Gunfighter's Pistol or the Tredaran Trench Pistol. So let's go with the Fallen Gunfighter's Pistol, because we essentially always use that. We might get rid of the Trench Pistol simply because of the extra corruption hits, even though it gives the extra damage. But I do think we probably want to get rid of that, just in case we want to get rid of the Fallen Gunfighter's Pistol. Although it's honestly not that bad, because we are planning on using it anyway, right? So what else? How important is that to get rid of? That might be worth maybe having Doc make his attempt at removing it, and then pay for Bechamel to get rid of hers, simply because that doctor has a better chance. He has a success with a 4+, and on a 6, in fact, I'll show you this so it's not all that, surgery. So 1 attempt per injury mutation. So a 1, he's botched. So the injury can never be healed through surgery at the doctor's office. Does mean, however, that, because that specifically says, healed through surgery at the doc's office, the Frontier Doc, so Doc Hollandaise, can attempt to do field surgery to get rid of it. So, and that actually is something he can also do during an adventure, just not during a fight, to try to get rid of those. So, and then 2 through 3 is a failed, and you get half your money back. 4 through 4 or 5 is a success. 6+ is the impressive scar. It's healed and +2 permanent health because of the new scar. So, 50% chance of succeeding. 1/6 chance of getting +2 health. Whereas his ability is a 5+, it's just healed, and that's it. So, and on a 1, obviously you lose 1 health, as opposed to that injury mutation can't be healed at the doctor's office. So I think we're going to go with that. Now that is a d6 times 50 per person. So we will need to see how much money we have. Oh, that's right. Bechamel had gambled. And let's go ahead. Since we are doing another turn, we do have one d6 times 50 gold because of Bechamel. So we get an extra 100 gold, which will certainly help. So day 2, I don't think we're going to try to get rid of the tentacle tail. I think Doc will keep his tentacle tail for now. We definitely want to get rid of Bechamel's chest portal. So Bechamel definitely has to go to the doctor's office. You know, again, the fused with item, we're not really planning on replacing the Fallen Gunfighter's pistol. Let me make sure. Yeah, it doesn't reduce down his... it doesn't reduce down his corruption ability. There's really... The only drawback, obviously, is that every turn he has to have that equipped. So if there was ever a time when he didn't want to equip that, he wouldn't be able to. I can't think of any encounter or effect. Maybe if we went to Cinder and he wanted to not wield the gun, to not take... but I think that was only clothing items, right? So I can't think of anything that would want... Unless I wanted to swap guns. But... that's the gun we almost always use, because it's range 6, 3 shots. He can take some wounds to do extra damage. The only reason would be as if we had gotten the ornate chests. He would not be able to put the gun into the ornate chest, right? Because he's fused with it, so he can't hide it away, and that would prevent the one Darkstone icon that it has. But that's only one Darkstone icon, right? It's not something that has like 3 icons on it, so it's not necessarily a big thing to put into the chest as it is. So I think we're actually okay, considering how low on money we are. I think actually all we really need to do is for Bechamel to go and do that. So what is everybody else going to do? You know what? I think we'll go ahead and we'll have Doc go to the saloon and gamble, because it is a cunning. He's got a cunning test that he can do, and then does Pete get rid of the fuse with item? You know what? Again, I don't think we want to. I don't think we want to care about that. We're low on money as it is, and we were looking to upgrade Bechamel's weapons, right? We're kind of, the breaching gun just hasn't lived up to its potential. She really needs to kind of dual wield weapons. We just don't have the money for that. Even granted, we could sell the breaching gun for $750. But I don't think we can afford to buy anything with that $750, especially since we are, paying for everything. And it was the gambling hall, I believe, that had the pistols that we wanted for her, the kind of fun ones that I don't know that I would ever actually remember that they have that bonus, but let's just double check that is the case. If I can find that gambling hall's sheet, which I thought I had right here on the top, but I apparently don't. Give me just a moment. Yes, so here we are. Gambling hall. Okay, and we were looking at the Gambler's Gun, 1400, range 7, 2 shots, and then once per turn, add d6 minus 3 damage to a single hit from the Gambler's Gun. If it's a negative, it does reduce the amount. 2 slots, obviously we would want to basically put a grip on it to give it 3 shots, so she would have 2 guns, range 7, 3 shots each, plus once per turn, each gun can add a d6 minus 3 damage to a single hit, which would be kind of fun. But that is 1,400, which even selling for 750, the breaching gun, that is half of what we would need for one gun, and we can't afford to do another 700 gold. We have barely 700 to our name right now. So, and we need to get rid of her mutation. And I mean, we can try to save the money from Doc, but we'll have to see. So, what does Pete? I'm rambling too much. What does Pete want to do? Pete doesn't need to do anything. We are good to go. So Pete actually won't stay in town. I don't think he needs to stay in town right now. Did pretty well with mutations. At some point, we'll probably want to get rid of his mutation, because at some point we may get a pistol that he'd want to replace. But I think we would replace the trench pistol before them. So Pete won't do anything. Doc, I think, will go. He will attempt to. Actually, you know what? He'll go to the gambling hall instead of the saloon. We will go ahead and do the 5-card poker. He's got a good cunning, and we will try to do that. He's also got some grit, so we will attempt that. So let's do that. We will start with the Doc's office though for Bechamel, which is the most important thing. But we do need to keep money for Bechamel and money for Doc. Well, what is the most that the doctor's going to have to spend here? So D6 times 50. So she needs 300 as a minimum. So she will take 300 as the minimum, and then we will figure out the remainder. We'll go to Doc to spend. For gambling. All the rest will get to go to Doc for him to spend. So, what happens to Bechamel at the doctor's office? Hopefully it's increased odds of surgery. A 3 is no. It's a plague tent. Make a luck 5+ test. If failed, you contract the plague, gain D3 corruption points with no willpower saves, and reduce to max grit 1 for the next adventure. Yay. Alright. Well, she has a 5 luck, so it could have been worse if somebody else had gone. And she certainly makes the luck test, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so how much does it cost for her surgery? It costs her a mere $50. This does not bode well for her. I probably should have. Well, I guess I can't. I don't know. Oh, she does have the tonic that she can use in her bag. So, if this is a horrible one, it is a 2. It's failed, so she's going to spend the tonic for a grit. Remember, it was ruled that surgery rolls could be re-rolled. And that also gets her a fortune, which she can then attempt to adjust this die roll. Alright, so let's see what this crazy die roll is going to be. It is a 4, so that's a success. If I could speak. So she loses the whole portal for $50. Nice. So she does have money. Do we need to buy anything else? I don't think we need to buy it. Well, she'll go ahead and take an anti-venom injection for 10. That sounds fine while she's there. But she won't spend anything else. Perfect. So Doc, what happens to Doc in the gambling hall? He has an 11 event. Drinks and cigars all around, Every hero in the gambling hall can immediately gain a whiskey token and a fine cigar token. Okay, well, we certainly could take a whiskey token. Doc's already kind of full of bandages and whatnot, so we will just leave it at. We'll just leave it at a whiskey token. Actually, we'll check because I don't quite remember the fine cigar, what the fine cigar does, but I will double check that, and I will make room because I think it might even be a grit, like a tonic. So if it is, then we might swap that out because we use the tonic obviously for bechamel. All right, and then the gambling hall. All right, so the 5-card draw poker. All right, so you're gonna roll 5 dice to represent his hand of cards. He has to pay $50, so he will pay $50 and then roll 5 dice. Let's see what we get for his hand. He has a pair of 6s, and then a 1, 3, and a 5, which none of those really help with much of anything. But we want to win money, right? So I pair anywhere from 50 to 250 more as an extra bet. So let's go ahead and pay. How much money does he have? Actually, he has just 250, so he's going to pay 250. He is exactly 250 extra. Okay. You can then re-roll any number of his dice. So the question is, we have a 1, 3, 5, and 6. If we go for, we could go for like a full house. We could go for a 3 of a kind, which wouldn't be bad. Obviously, a straight of 4 sequential numbers. The danger obviously is, he's got a 5 and a 6 and a 3, so I could roll 2 dice attempting to get a 4, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, which wouldn't be too bad. Trying to see what else. Really, the only difference between these, if we look at these, is the royal flush, right? And if we're successful, we get triple our bet. Everything else is just how difficult the cunning test is. And he's got a 6 cunning, so I mean a straight would be good. A full house might be a little difficult, obviously, because he's only got 1 pair, even with 6 dice. But we could get conceivably 3 of a kind, and that's a cunning 6+ test, or a straight, which is a cunning 5+ test. The challenge will be, what do we roll? If we go for the straight, we've got 2 dice to roll. If we go for the 3 of a kind, we could do 3 dice. Is there anything else worth trying to go for? Probably not. So if we go for the straight, let's go for the straight's a 5, 3 of a kind. The straight is a 5+ test, which is obviously easier. But we get more dice, and we have the possibility of getting a 4 of a kind, right? So let's go ahead. Let's roll these. Hope we get a 6. We do not. Unfortunately, we have 2 pair. I could spend a grit to re-roll. Would get extra unwanted. I don't really do much with unwanted because I don't stick around. So that extra mechanic of that, while useful in many games, as a single player trying to keep track of everything, I've just kind of left that off. 1 extra roll might not be a bad There's a chance, obviously, of getting a full house. And speaking of which, actually, so let's do this. Bechamel spent her tonic, and that got her a fortune. So she will spend her fortune point to try to increase this 5 to a 6, and that would get him a full house. He doesn't need to re-roll. So she has a 5 luck. We need 1, 5, or 6. She gets 2, so she can actually raise that up to a 6. And there is Doc's full house, which is great. So that means he has a full house, so his test is going to be a Cunning 4+ test in order to actually win. And he does succeed. And that means he gets a D6 times 25. So cool, he gets 125. And then we get, in addition to that, we get, what was that? We get double our extra bet, which was 250. So we get 500. And then 125. So we gained some money. 300 or so gold. So we do need to see if there is a town event on day 2. There is not. So that will be the end of this. Thank you for sticking with me and for your patience. Again, thanks to Bulldog K9 UK and Darth Jawa 13 for their comments and pointing out some of the things that I could correct. I did not. Oh, you know what? All right, I'm just gonna stop here. I forgot to do the cards for the town, for the day in town. I forgot to do the gear card that I was supposed to draw. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm going to cut my losses before things run on too long. This was just supposed to be a quick little extra video for an extra day in town to fix. Basically because we had the mutations, and I was pretty sure we'd need another day to get rid of mutations. Theoretically, maybe Doc could have just used his ability. We could have spent one day, but we did one more day, and that's that. So, thanks for watching. Again, thanks to everybody who subscribed. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Please hit the like button. I appreciate that a lot. I'd like to keep doing this, and I like entertaining you all. Again, in the description is a link to my Patreon page if you wish to generously donate some of your money to help support this. But if not, that is perfectly okay. I have fun doing this, and as long as you guys can keep the comments coming, keep subscribing and liking, I'm going to keep doing this. So, and there certainly are things coming up in the future. So again, I'll stop rambling, stop talking. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And we'll have another episode coming up shortly. Bye.